Hi, today we've got Nicole Hanusek from Smack Happy. Hi, welcome, Nicole. Appreciate you coming joining us today.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Yeah, sure. So, Nicole, tell me a little bit about your role, and then tell me a little bit about the organization as well.
So I have been designing and coding websites for about 18 years now.
Okay.
And I started my company about 8 years ago.
Okay.
And since then, I've kind of built out a great team of individuals, and we all love helping people. So whether that be our clients or our clients' clients or even each other, we're just very open and giving people.
Okay, very cool. So when you say your agency, talk to me about the different set of services you folks offer.
So we mostly focus on web design, and within that, mostly WordPress.
Okay.
We have worked with some other systems as well, or even just helping startups with some of their code, working in their code repositories.
Right.
And outside of web design, we also do some graphic design. We've done logos, brochures, business cards, anything in the print realm.
Sure. So it sounds like a very creative agency that has print capabilities, but on the digital development side has a very strong WordPress foundation.
Yeah, that's correct.
Awesome, awesome. So now, from an ideal client perspective, is it generally a startup? Is it a small to mid-sized business? Certainly enterprises don't necessarily need logos generally. They usually have those established things like that. But I don't know how many enterprises are really working on a WordPress website. So talk to me what an ideal customer for you folks looks like.
Okay. So we typically have 4 different types of clients. One can be that enterprise company. Oftentimes their marketing website is separate from whatever they're selling.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes that is WordPress, sometimes it's not. So whenever their marketing team is kind of overwhelmed and their coders can't get to stuff, they'll come to someone like me and my team, and we'll be able to jump in and help them get things done a little quicker.
Okay.
I've also worked with startups, and in that situation, a lot of times they won't have the budget yet to hire someone like a visual designer or a front-end coder, and so we can kind of help fill that gap until they get to that point.
Okay.
And then we've worked with small companies like mom and pop shops who just need a graphic and web design partner, again, to help fill in those gaps and just do things for them. You can't be an expert in everything, which is why we're experts.
Right. So how many clients do you folks have, and how many websites do you folks generally push out on an annual basis?
Ooh, annually. I've never done that particular number.
Okay.
But at any given time, we have 20 to 30 active projects.
Okay.
And we host, we use WP Engine as our hosting partner.
Yep.
And we currently host almost 100 websites.
Okay. Very cool. So in terms of pricing, and I understand that's, it really depends on the requirements of the customer. But talk to me a little bit about the different ranges that maybe customers generally have to pay for your set of services.
Okay. So on the low end for a simple kind of static brochure website, the range is somewhere between $4,000 and $7,000.
Okay.
And then on the high end for more complex websites with lots of pages and lots of functionality, it can go as high as $15,000.
15, you said?
Yeah, 15.
Okay. And in terms of timelines, usually somebody wants a smaller size site. How quickly could they get it delivered, generally speaking?
In a perfect world, if we're getting back to each other really quickly, we could do it in a month.
Okay.
But realistically, most website projects take between 1 to 3 months. Or if it's one of those bigger sites, it could even take 6 months.
Understood. And I presume you've got clients all over the world, or are they primarily California focused?
We do have a very large amount in California, but we've worked with people all over throughout the U.S. and even in a couple other countries.
Very cool. Very cool. So, I mean, what does the company look like, let's say 2-3 years from now? What are your plans? I mean, if I want to go, essentially, if you go ahead and align yourself with an agency, you're saying, hey, you're a critical part of my business, right? So you'd want to see that, and I understand you've got 8 years of history there, so that's helpful. But really, what can your customers look forward to in the next 2-3 years?
I am actively expanding out my team. I have an SEO specialist on board with us now. She's also a writer, so she's fantastic at creating content. Probably adding on a marketing strategist, someone to make more solid plans for, how to get the word out there about your stuff.
Right.
I've got a couple project managers. I've got coders and designers. So just also building out the more of those people to make sure that we get things done quickly and efficiently. And again, because we like to help people so much, we want everyone to have a great experience.
Yeah. Sort of a tricky question, but this is one that I like to ask: is what is a common, not necessarily a complaint, but a feedback that you get from your clients that's where's a common, it's a commonality, you're hearing it often, and maybe you could that you're already addressing or plan on addressing.
Okay. So over the last year or two, one of the complaints I was getting is that I wasn't getting back to people fast enough.
Okay.
I used to be really, really quick to respond, and then I got way too busy.
Yeah.
So I hired project managers, and now that's not a problem anymore.
Good.
So I guess the next thing, and this is probably true always and will always be true, is that content is really hard.
Yeah.
It's usually a holdup for a website.
Yeah.
So oftentimes we'll miss deadlines because the content needs to be done, and it's hard to write your content, especially about yourself. Okay. So if you start planning your content first, then you'll be ahead of the game.
For sure.
And we can also help finalize it and polish it.
What is to talk to me a little bit about when I look at your firm, a lot of these agencies tend to sometimes outsource the work simply because they get it's not necessarily a scalable business. So a lot of times it requires human capital, and the only way you scale that is maybe potentially by having outsourcing partners. Do you have any outsourcing partners that your customers can rely on, or do you, from a quality perspective, tend to keep things in-house?
Yeah, I'm very picky and have very high standards, so I tend to keep everything within my team.
Okay. Very cool. Very cool. All right. I think, that pretty much, if I was interested in learning more about you and at least trying to, get a better sense of what your organization was all about, those would be the initial set of questions I would have. And then I would also start talking about the specifics around my project. So, we do drive a significant amount of traffic to Crowd Reviews, and I hope our audience can reach out to you if they're looking for either a WordPress site or if they're looking for creative work. I think it certainly would be a strong option, just learning more and seeing if this is definitely a fit for them. So I highly encourage folks reaching out to Nicole. So Nicole, what's the best way for someone to actually get a quote? Or is it through the website? How do you do you have a sales rep? What's the process? And talk to our audience, if you would please, in terms of how they connect with you.
So the best way to get started is through the website. So it's smackhappy.com. And if you want to go directly to the questionnaire, it's /quote. So
okay.
Smack, then that's as in slap. Yeah. Smackhappy.com/quote. So it's a pretty detailed questionnaire. It shouldn't take too long to fill out, though. Once you get that completed, we'll schedule a meeting. Preferably, I like to meet in person or at least see each other through Skype.
Okay.
And if that doesn't work, then we can do a phone call. Sure. And we'll talk about the details of your project. And once I kind of get a grasp on what you're looking for, I'll send a proposal, and we kind of take it from there.
Very cool. Very cool. I certainly thank you for your time today, Nicole.
Sure, sure.